everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel today. Recently a whole bunch of the Sephora hauls went up in reference to the VIB sale. I am guilty as well. I did my own video. I will link that one down below. I heard a couple suggestions from you guys about how Sephora was out of your budget and what were some of my drugstore favorites. And when I mentioned doing a drugstore favorites video, everyone got very excited. And so I'm going to deliver that today. If you're interested in finding out what I love from the drugstore that's really good quality, not quite as expensive as Sephora, then just keep watching. So I'm gonna kind of go through this just in the order, more or less, that you would apply things to your face. I was gonna do a get ready with me until I realized that in some areas I had a couple of different options that I liked and I could not put on 4 blushes at one time. So let's go. You're gonna prime your face, and what I found I really enjoy and like is by NYX. It's the Angel Veil Primer. I like this because it's kind of a one size fits all. It's not too slippery, it's not completely mattifying either. It's kind of right down the middle. So really like this by NYX. My foundation, hands down, cannot argue me out of it, is by L'Oreal. It's the Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. First of all, this line has yellow-based tones, which not a lot of drugstore foundations do. So if you're like me and you've got a slightly less pink, more olive based skin tone, then this is the line for you. They say it's a pro matte, but it's not 100% mattifying, but it does take care of the normal oil production that we have during the day. And so I really feel like this one also, which happens to work really well for me because I do have very oily skin, but I feel like I've heard that those with dry skin also are able to use this. And so again, kind of right around it's just kind of in the middle. Not too mattifying, not too hydrating, because the hydrating ones, I would look like a dewy hot mess right there. I've been using this since it came out and hands down, favorite drugstore foundation. I like to set my foundation with a setting powder. It's really cheap. It's by Rimmel. It's the Stay Matte pressed powder. And so packaging sucks because it's got this really weird clear cover. So it's not really travel friendly, but when you realize how well that it works, you kind of sacrifice that and you're willing to deal with it and put up with it. It comes in a series of colors and shades, but also comes in what they call transparent, which is like translucent, which is kind of what I use. I don't ever like to add any additional color to my foundation color because I don't know, I just don't like that. So I'm happy it comes in a transparent. When it comes to concealer, hands down, Maybelline owns the boat. The boat? Why is it a boat? Okay, if you need light under eye concealing, then go with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. A lot of comparisons to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I'm sorry, they're not actually the same thing. This formula is much thinner than the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And so if you don't have tremendous eye circles and you just under eye circles and you just kind of want to brighten your eyes up a little bit, then definitely go with the Maybelline Fit Me. If you're like me and you've got tremendous dark circles, either because you're born that way or because you're not getting enough rest, which is probably like most of us. Who actually gets enough sleep every night? I don't know. Anyway, the Maybelline Master Concealer is awesome for that because it's thicker than the Fit Me and it really does conceal the under eye without being so thick that it winds up looking really cakey. So it's a really nice happy medium between being thick enough but not too thick and being able to conceal what you're actually trying to conceal. So on days where I definitely have not slept, I cannot even think about using this. Normal, like bright and shiny days, or maybe days where I just want to go light on my makeup, don't want to wear too much, then I go with the Fit Me. And then if I just feel like being different, the Maybelline Age Rewind concealers are also really fabulous. These are the guys that have the little sponge on the top, which I've heard people debate and, oh, is that sanitary? And, you know, you're constantly touching your face. Okay, people, listen, we touch our face with our hands and brushes and everything all the time. And I don't often break out under my eyes, so I kind of just ignore that whole bacteria debate. They do a little bit better coverage than the Fit Me Concealer. The Fit Me Concealer, I would say, is the lightest. I love all of them. Maybelline and concealer, they've got it going on. Setting my under eye concealer, that was a little bit of a challenge. There actually isn't that much sold in the drugstore when it comes to setting under eye concealer. So finally I came across by Wet n Wild the Fergie line. Fergie's been working with Wet n Wild. So it's called the Take on the Day Mattifying Powder. And in theory you could use this, I suppose, all over your face as well. It is a white, barely perceptible setting powder. For under my eye, it's definitely adequate. And it does mattify. You've got to work with the powder a little bit more than some of the higher end brands, but like I said, in a pinch and you don't want to drop a ton of money on an under eye setting powder, then you can definitely use this and really not have many complaints. When it comes to bronzers, I'm not really sure why the drugstore brands don't really put a lot of effort into bronzers. Let it be said, you can always take a pressed powder that's a number of shades darker than your skin tone, and you can use that to either contour or bronze. But just for the conversation's sake of saying a bronzer, a really good one is by Physicians Formula, and it's got a lot of words. So this is what it looks like. It's the guy that's got the little pink circle in the center. It comes in 2 shades, light to medium, medium to dark. It's called the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster Beauty Balm. I think Glow, okay, wait. No, that's not right. There's more words. It's the Bronze Booster Glow Boosting Beauty Balm BB Bronzer. Okay, that's just ridiculous. I use the shade light to medium, and I really like this as a bronzer. And in fact, I find myself going back to it quite a bit simply because it's really easy to apply. It blends in very nicely. It's not too dark, so it's buildable. It's not so pigmented that you wind up like muddying your face because now you've applied too much. It just applies so nicely. And so the Physicians Formula 5000 Bees bronzer is the one to go for. I'll have everything listed down below in the description box, so don't worry about trying to write down all of those B's. For highlighter, I actually have 2, and highlighters also were kind of a problem when it comes to drugstore. A lot of times they were, in the past anyway, if they had a highlighter, it wasn't very good. It was just basically like a white shimmer, and that's just no good. Now, however, that's a little bit different. This one also, again, by Physicians Formula. It doesn't really have a full name. This is the guy that has all the little, has about 12 different little individual bricks on it. And it comes in 2 shades. This is the natural nude. There's also a warm nude if you need to go a little darker. What's so great though about this compact and this little tiny palette here is that you could do so many things. So if you stay, it goes from light to dark. If you stay on this side and just kind of blend, you get a very nice, light, a little bit pink-based highlighter. If you go down the other side, you get something of a bit of a browner, maybe sort of a blush topping highlighter. It's just kind of a bronzy sort of glow. And then the third way you can use it is if you swirl it all together, which makes the compact look messy, but you wind up getting a balance between the two, the light end and the dark end. It's a really creamy powder. It doesn't have a lot of silver chunks in it, you know, glitter chunks in it, which was kind of what the drugstore used to think made a good highlighter. That's my phone. The other highlighter that I found worked really well is also again by Fergie in her collaboration with Wet n Wild. This is her highlighter in Hollywood Boulevard. So it's this kind of multi-toned jaguar, wild animal, cat palette, kind of a marbled effect. That's what I was looking for. And this one is a little bit of a golder highlight. So less pink, less cool than the Physicians Formula that I just showed you. So this one being a little bit more of a golder, bronzier highlight. And it's also really creamy. It was about $5 and I think it applies really well. So let's finish with the face and talk about blushes. I like 2 companies of blushes quite a bit. The first company is Milani, and Milani has that blush that everybody talks about, which they called a dupe for NARS Orgasm. I don't think so. I think the NARS Orgasm is quite, I can't open the container. I think the NARS Orgasm is a bit pinker, but this is just one of their baked blushes, and it's called Luminoso, and it is just a gorgeous peach. It's like peachy pink, but a little bit peacher than pinker, with just a hint of it not being matte. So it's not 100% matte, but it's not a shimmer or, you know, glittery blush at all. But it complements most skin tones. Milani makes the other blush that I love. They recently came out with these rose petal looking blushes, and they're like hugely massive, and they just call it their powder blush. This is the color Romantic Rose, which is kind of like a dirty rose almost. So it's not a bright rose, it's not a pink rose. It's been toned down just a little bit. It is 100% matte. It is also buildable, but yet really pigmented at the same time. The other company that you cannot ignore when it comes to blushes is Makeup Geek. Now you can only get Makeup Geek online, but her quality of product, Marlena, like we're BFF or something. Her quality of product is intense at drugstore prices. I have 6. They're just super creamy and pigmented, and they're super easy to work with, and all of those descriptive words that we use whenever it comes to a powder product. My favorites by her are what they call Spellbound. Spellbound being a peachy pink, but a little bit pinker than peach. It is 100% matte. My other favorite by her, which was surprising in the pan, is called Bliss. And this is definitely like a peachy melony sort of shade. And so also 100% matte. And honestly, you could buy any one of them and you can't go wrong with them either way. Makeup Geek really has it going on. And I'm gonna talk about them one more time before the video is over. Moving on from the face, let's go to the eye area. The first thing you wanna do when it comes to drugstore eyeshadow is you wanna get a matte palette. I highly recommend the one by Sonia Kashuk. It is the Eye on Neutral Matte 02, whatever that means. It is an awesome collection of very user-friendly matte shades. You can have this as the basis for any of your eye looks, and you could wear it alone, but it could be the base. It's got all of the colors you need. Really good crease color, transition colors, under brow, highlighting colors, outer corner I mean, it's like the most inclusive palette. You have to work with them a little bit more than some of the higher end shadows, but I think if you invest the time, you ultimately cannot even begin to tell the difference between the Sonia Kashuk eyeshadows and some of the higher end, such as MAC shadows. So this is your matte basis. Now, if you want to jazz it up and you want to add some shimmer from the drugstore, first of all, you cannot go wrong with the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. They come in these little jars. They're a little bit like, they're like a pressed pigment because they're not loose within the jar. They're firm, but if you start poking them, then they'll start to loosen up. Two of my favorite colors are Amber Rush, which is just a gorgeous rosy gold, and the other one is Bronzed Taupe, which is then just another really, it's a bronze taupe. I mean, it's descriptive in the name. You also cannot ignore the, by Maybelline. See, they do more than just concealer. The Maybelline Color Tattoo 24 Hour. They look like the MAC paint pots, so they're a little bit creamy. You can apply them just with your finger. This one you can't ignore. It is called Bad to the Bronze, and that's what it is. It's a bronzy shade with like a silver shimmer to it. Also cannot go wrong with this. I don't want to ignore by e.l.f. They have a trio of eyeshadows, Walking on Eggshells, which I don't know. There's just something about this palette, like you just can't not have it. And there's a brow bone, a crease, and an eyelid color, which is a gorgeous pinky champagne, and the brown is just really nice and rich and gorgeous as well. I don't know, it's like $3, and it just has amazing quality, and you kind of, just like I said, you just can't ignore that. I said I was going to talk about Makeup Geek again because I'm going to mention when it comes to dressing up your already matted eyeshadowed eyelid, Makeup Geek makes amazing what she calls foiled shadows and duochrome shadows. The foiled shadows are just what they say, they're shimmer, but they're just super pigmented, and which makes them just lovely. And her duochrome shadows, which I've done a review on, I will link that video down below. Her duochromes have a base color and then a reflect color, so depending on your angle of looking at them, they just create amazing color and an amazing perspective. And so when you're buying some blushes, you might want to add some of the Makeup Geek shadows as well. Closing on off, coming to the eye. When it comes to eyeliner, hands down, best thing you will ever buy in the drugstore is by Rimmel, the Scandalize Eyeliners, this is a brown. It comes in black and blue and purple, and there's also a really great nude one for lining underneath your lid. Underneath your lid? Lining down here, okay? In your waterline. You might want to put a nude Rimmel Scantalize there. I'm trying to get out so much information, I'm forgetting what things are called. These are like the, I believe it's the Urban Decay 24/7, like 5 times as much money eyeliners. These hold up really, really well. They're really inexpensive, and I don't know, Rimmel Scandalize is creating a scandal for being such a good dupe. When it comes to mascara, L'Oreal, hands down, makes the best mascara, in my opinion, at the drugstore. I am a forever fan of the L'Oreal Telescopic mascara. Some people like this wand, others do not. It's similar to a comb, but I really feel like it crazily lengthens your lashes, and so I go in first and I lengthen my lashes, and then I thicken my lashes, also with L'Oreal, with the Butterfly line of mascaras. This is the waterproof one, but it's got teeth. The wand has I don't know why I felt like I had to do that. You're not even supposed to do that generally. I don't know why I felt I had to do it right now, even though I'm not putting it on. So this is the brush that's winged at the end, like it's like a butterfly, I don't know, so that it applies more product to the outer corner of your lid. I think this is an amazing second step. Once you've already lengthened your lashes, now you can go in with this comb or this wand, which does not have the bristles too close together so that it doesn't create any clumping on your eyelashes, because I hate that pet peeve. You cannot clump your eyelashes. So the L'Oreal, L'Oreal Voluminous Butterfly, waterproof or not, whichever is your fancy. When it comes to your eyebrows, I also did a review on this and compared the NYX Micro Brow Pencil to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Although in that video I preferred the Anastasia, actually the NYX was not that far behind. It is, what I love about it is it's got the spoolie on one end, which you should be spooling your eyebrows repeatedly when you are applying pencil, but it's also got this micro brow pencil, which allows you to create very tiny lines on your brow, which mimic what your hairs would look like if they were actually in that area, which for many people, there are little tiny bald spots on your brows, which is no fun. And so you don't want to go in with a very wide pencil, because then that looks unnatural. And so the NYX Micro Brow is actually half the price of Anastasia, and it's basically almost as good. In my opinion, the best that you can find in the drugstore. You can comb your brows into place one of two ways. NYX also makes a really great brow gel, a clear brow gel. It's not as intense as the Anastasia one. It's a little bit less strong, so that would mean weak. It's a little bit weaker than hers, but still does a really, really good job of combing and keeping your brows in place. If you want to add a little bit of color, I really enjoy the one by L'Oreal, the Brow Stylist Plumper. It's a little tiny one, and it's got little fibers in it. It's similar to the Benefit Gimme Brow. Gimme Brow. G-I-M-M-E. Gimme Brow. It allows you to add a little bit of dimension to the brow hairs that you already have, and also add just a little bit of color. If you're going to set your makeup, you definitely need to get your hands on, also by L'Oreal, same line that makes the foundation that I just talked about. This is the Infallible Pro Spray and Set Makeup Extender Setting Spray. Whatever, sets your makeup. Blends all your powders and layers of makeup together. Takes away that powder finish. Feels really good on the skin and does a really good job of keeping your makeup in place. Okay, we are coming to the end of our face. So I believe that right now all I've got is lips. When it comes to lip liners, I like 3 different brands, because I feel like if they can make a really good nude lip liner, which I think they do, then the rest of the colors are kind of no-brainers. It's the nudes that lip liners always have trouble with. I love by Jordana the shade Tawny, which is a slightly darker than actual nude. It's like a pinky kind of nude, but definitely a little bit darker. So Jordana by Tawny by Jordana. I love the NYX Automatic Twist Up lip liners, the retractable lip liners. This is in the shade Nude. Well, hey, that's pretty convenient. Anyway, by NYX, Nude by NYX. And then finally by Rimmel, the Exaggerate lip liners, also a twist up. Actually, the Jordana's a twist up too, because I cannot stand having to sharpen a pencil like on the road. Like I don't want to have to take out my lip liner like out of my bag and be like, oh crap, I need to sharpen it. And then you wind up drawing this like chalk thick line. Yeah, no. It has to be automatic. The Rimmel Exaggerate lip liner in natural, also I think really, really good. They're different shades of nude, easy to apply. When it comes to lipsticks, first I am going to be specific and tell you about the Revlon Honey. Oh my gosh, what is this called? I've wiped it off. It's the one that looks like a crayon. That's awful, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it looks like a crayon. I'm gonna list the description down below, and it's called Honey, and it's just a great natural nude color. These come matte and they come balmy. I think they call this like a stick balm or something. I'm so annoyed I can't remember right now. I'm so annoyed that I wiped it off the container. I talked before about Milani making really good blushes. Milani also makes really good lipsticks. They have a matte line and like a creamy line. They're known for having really nicely pigmented products. Their creamy lipsticks really are just creamy. They go on really, really nicely. They have a smell that some people like or don't like. I personally do like it. It's kind of like a watermelony, cantaloupe sort of smell. My favorite by them is Nude Cream. It's a really good peachy, pinky nude, and I love it. And it's one of their cream lipsticks. They recently, or somewhat recently, released a matte line as well, which also they are creamy mattes. They are not sticky mattes. One of my favorites is called Matte Naked. Same idea. This one's kind of like a brownie pink, but again, it's right along the lines of all the matte shades that are now coming out in the matte lipsticks. Milani. I also love by Revlon, and these are not matte and not lipsticks. These are their lip butters. These are two of my favorites. There's an entire line of them. One of them is called Pink Truffle, which is again kind of like a pinky brown. I have used this one almost in its entirety. That might make it into an empties video. And I'm also really liking the one called Creme Brulee. This is for a naked lip. When you have an intensely smoky eye, this one goes awesome as just a doesn't white out your lips, but it just tones them down, takes away all of the natural kind of pink to your lips, and just looks really hot. The NYX lip butters, when it comes to lip glosses, these are phenomenal. They smell great. Two of my favorites are Creme Brulee. Oh, it's also called Creme Brulee. And the other one is Fortune Cookie, which is kind of like a nakedy kind of not beige, because it's like a pinky beige. And then Creme Brulee is, this one's definitely like a pink. But the NYX butter glosses, lip glosses, are just fabulous, awesome over a matte lipstick, or awesome just to layer. But like I said, they also smell really, really good. Just the same way Makeup Geek was only available online, I want to mention ColourPop, which is also only available online, and they spell their name C-O-L-O-U-R, ColourPop. I love that. I don't know why I like that. But they have two fabulous lines of lipsticks. They have what they call their lippy sticks, which are fabulous, and they are only $5. Two of my favorites are Frida and Lumiere, which are both designed by YouTubers that did collaborations with ColourPop. Coffee Break with Danny and Kathleen Lights. I will link their channels down below. Check them out. But they created two really great colors on top of the fact that the lippy sticks are just really amazing by ColourPop. ColourPop also makes an amazing ultra matte lip color. I have like 20, and so these are just two that I happen to grab to show you that they make really good neutrals and really good bright colors as well. When it comes to the liquid lipsticks, which typically have a matte finish, I think ColourPop does an amazing job. They're only like $5 or $6 as well. This is a very comfortable as it can get when it comes to wearing a matte lipstick, but again, at drugstore prices. The last thing that I want to talk about are brushes. Brushes used to be hard in the drugstore, and then a couple of companies started coming out. Sonia Kashuk, who made that matte eyeshadow palette, also has, this is actually the less expensive line. This is a blush brush, one of my favorite blush brushes. Sonia Kashuk has also a higher level line, a little bit more expensive. I think the handles are all black. But the brushes in the white line, they definitely do what you need to do without prickling your face. I've talked before about prickle. I hate the prickle. Real Techniques makes amazing brushes. I've got just 3 right here just to talk about real quick. This is the multitask brush. So if you have this brush, you don't need much other brushes. This is an amazing setting brush for underneath your eye, and this is an awesome eyeshadow brush. And they are very reasonably priced and a really good quality brush. e.l.f. winds up making some really good brushes. This is their blending brush. I love this brush. This is awesome for contouring. It's awesome for all over bronzing. You could use this as a you could use that, you could highlight your nose. You could do whatever you like with this brush. Really, really soft, somewhat dense, but being dense is okay. Also, e.l.f. sells a stippling brush, which I'm a big fan of. It's a duo fiber brush though, which means the end of the bristles are really, really soft. And so that gives you a lot of control over makeup application. Finally, I want to talk about Eco Tools. These are just two of Eco Tools brushes. Eco Tools makes really good brushes. And this is a stippling brush, and this is their bronzer brush. These are incredibly soft. And like I said, I primarily want to make sure that my brushes don't have any prickle. I want to make sure they don't, I want the stippling brush to stipple, but I don't want the brushes to prickle. That totally sounds like a nursery rhyme now. Anyway, these don't poke you in the face, and these are pretty awesome too by Eco Tools. Thank you for spending this time with me where I could share with you my favorite drugstore products. I have been going to the drugstore since I was in the 4th grade. My best friend and I would go there every weekend and just walk around and see what was new. We definitely loved exploring the makeup department in the drugstores, and I'm so happy that drugstore products have definitely stepped up their game and really are worth it now. So if you're on a budget, I hope my list was helpful for you. What are some of your favorite drugstore products? Please leave that in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, then please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed and would like to spend more time with me, then please subscribe as well. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I hope you have a really good rest of the day. And in the meantime, thanks.
Angel Veil is a really, forgot what it was called. Oh my gosh, this is like the longest video ever. Have I been talking faster as I've been going? I feel like my speed has been increasing because I'm like suddenly very aware of how long this is. Okay, but I need to tell you everything. I have to tell you everything because, I don't know, that makes me nervous if I leave things out. I don't know. And so, I'm not going to get 100%, I'm not going to get 100% specific,